Is an artist, a designer, a fabricator, an educator, and a beekeeper. He was a recent grant recipient for his urban beekeeping project at Downtown at Providence Provisions, which I was at. I wrote it for you. You were one of my three. I wrote it for you. That's cool. Peter is also a RISTA Fellowship winner and active in many Providence arts organizations, including ASU3, the Skill Yard, and PCA Studios. Here is Peter.
Hi guys. So my name is Peter, and I'm here to talk about this. So what you're looking at right now is a 6-ounce jar of raw local honey produced right here in Providence, Rhode Island. Now this jar might seem pretty simple, but it's actually the result of a tremendous amount of effort on the part of some very small creatures, bees. Bees, as you may not know, they help pollinate about 7% of all the food that you eat. So a single bee will make 15 to 150 trips a day from the hive, and an average of 1.25 to 2.5 miles per trip, visiting anywhere from 50 to 350 flowers. So in order to produce that 6-ounce jar you saw there, the bees had to visit over 1 million flowers and have traveled more than the circumference of the earth. So how did I get involved with beekeeping? I went to New Zealand and I helped a friend there harvest a batch of honey from his hive. And as payment, he gave me a jar of raw honey. And it's just an amazing thing if you've ever gotten it. It's straight from the source, it's fragrant, it's just incredibly powerful little thing. So I was hooked. I had become a beekeeper. Keeping bees it's a pretty hands-on hobby, but it makes you aware of certain things. Your surroundings, the weather, the flowers that are blooming in your neighborhood. Yeah, it just gave me an awareness of my neighborhood and the natural setting. So warmth. Many people ask me, what do bees do in the winter? Well, they hibernate, and here's a thermal image of a beehive, and you can kind of see the cluster of bees are all tightly packed around the queen, so the center is the warmest part of the cluster. So basically, workers nearest to the queen are very tightly packed together to keep her warm. And then as you go further out, the bees outside are able to move around and get to the honey that's in the hive. Bees actually flex their wing muscles to raise their body temperature, and that's how they keep the hive warm. So the center of the hive will be 93 degrees in the winter. So a worker, there's 3 types of bees. This is a worker. They make up the vast majority of the bees in the hive. They do all the tasks from harvesting honey, tending to the queen, raising the young, defending the hive, and they are female. So this is a drone. This is the male in the hive. There are not very many of them, and they don't actually do a lot of work. Their main job is to mate with the queen, and that's it. They don't actually do any of the tasks that the workers do. But come fall, they get evicted from the hive, so they don't get to stick around. So this is the queen, this is the big mama, and there's only one per hive, and she has to do 2 things. She has to mate and she has to lay eggs, and that's what she does her entire life. All the bees in the hive are her children. So bees have to communicate with dances. So actually, this is they call it the round dance, and when a bee wants to tell other bees about nectar source, it does this motion when nectar is nearby. And so the bees recognize this and they recruit other workers. And then if the nectar is farther away, this is the waggle dance. And so this is actually when the bee, the waggle dance. I can't do the waggle dance. But it's like a figure 8 pattern, and the angle of the dance is basically, unfortunately, bees are having a tough time right now. You guys might not know that. There's populations that have been devastated by a number of diseases. There's colony collapse disorder, American foul brood. You've got the pests like the varroa mite. So they're really stressed, and loss rates are really high. One main reason for this that bees have just really had a tough time is because of monoculture. So bees have to be shipped across the country in order to pollinate all the crops that we rely on. In order to do that, they're exposed to a lot of pesticides, they're exposed to a lot of different pests. So the honey that you buy at the grocery store is not what you think it is. This is a list of grocery store honey that, when tested, there were no sources of pollen found in the honey. Without pollen, you can't tell if honey comes from flowers. So you have no way of knowing what's in it. It's a common practice in the industry to ultra-filter your honey. By doing this, you basically make it impossible to tell where the honey's come from. A lot of people think that over 30% of the honey that's bought and sold in the U.S. comes from China. So we've got a problem. This is not sustainable. We need to reinvent the way the industrial practices of beekeeping, and we need to create value around honey. You know, I think people are used to this idea when you think of coffee growing, the way that people find micro lots of coffee, or the way that we think of wine. It's been going on for centuries. I think we can think about this with honey. So I'm interested in creating something that's an urban model. Bees do really well in urban settings. There is a lot of variety of flora for them to choose from. They actually, many things are always coming into season. So it's actually, even though it's counterintuitive, it's actually a really good environment for them. This is sort of a mock-up idea of different sites throughout Providence. You could have bees, and you could have local, hyper-local spots of honey, and allowing people to buy honey from a specific neighborhood that would have specific characteristics. So, if you guys are interested, I'm starting a project. I'm trying to get a hyper-local, community-sponsored brand of honey made. If you guys have any interest, if you guys know how to design a website, if you guys have a backyard you want to have a hive, please talk to me after this. And I've got some promotional material at the center. And sign up for my mailing list. Thank you.